Hi, everyone. Welcome. Feel free to be camera on or camera off, whatever you're comfortable with, and please mute yourselves during the presentation. You will be able to unmute to ask questions or type questions in the chat. As we are getting going here, if you could put your name, first and last, and the program you're in the chat, we'll use that to take attendance. So please type your name and your department in the chat. All right, and with that, we'll go ahead and begin. Hi, I'm Emily Hilleran. I am our Associate Director of Student Support.
Hi, everyone. I am Natasha Rusi. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns. I am Senior Student Support Counselor here in Chicago and ADA Coordinator for the Chicago campus. Welcome.
Welcome. And we'll go ahead and get into our agenda. So welcome. We've done that. Up next, we'll discuss who we are and what we do. You'll get to learn a little bit more about student support and the services we offer. We'll talk through a couple important policies and documents you need, discuss how to get to campus and some things you need to know for being on campus. Then we'll get into additional student resources and supports, including presentations from some of our colleagues like financial aid, IT, the library, career services, community partnerships, the Writing Center. So that is the overview for today. Oh, and then we will end with a quick walkthrough of our online resources, including Canvas and our website. So sit back, relax, again, camera on or camera off, and I'll hand it off to Natasha to discuss student support.
Thanks, Emily. So student support, you've probably heard from us already at some point during orientation. We have a pretty strong presence there because it is one of the main things that we do. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can help, how to get in touch with us, and then some important policies to know going into your time here at the Chicago School. So I'll go over the student handbook, Ferpa, and the acknowledgement form that we will have you complete after orientation. This is just our lovely team smiling here at you, welcoming you to the Chicago School. So student support services, we provide assistance with a wide variety of things, and we like to say that this department is your go-to department if you have a question or if there's anything you need. So some of the things that we help with are registration issues. Many of you may have connected with a student support counselor to register for the first time, or if you needed to make changes to your registration, that's a big part of what we support with, as well as policies and paperwork. So if you ever need to make a status change, something like take a leave of absence, or if you've been approved to take a course outside of your program, we can help with the paperwork around those things. So it's not the most glamorous, but it is an essential part of how higher education operates. So if you're ever making changes and you're like, there might be a form for this, there probably is a form for that, and student support can help with those. In addition to those more administrative things, we also house several offices within student support, including accessibility accommodations, international student services, student life and events. Those are things that we oversee and that you can connect with through really anyone on this team. When it comes to campus resources, accessing campus resources is a huge part of what student support is here to help with, and that includes things like the UPass, which we'll talk about in a little bit more detail later on in the presentation, wellness resources, mental health resources, which we'll also talk about later on in the presentation, and really anything that you're like, I wonder if the Chicago School does insert thing here. Connect with your student support counselor and we can help you kind of figure out what next steps are and how to connect with the answer to whatever your question might be. Our office hours are pretty standard, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have a general email line and a phone line that you will get. Emily just posted it in the chat, but you're also going to get these slides posted to Early Connect. So you will have a version of these slides for anyone like me who might be like furiously trying to write things down. Don't worry, we will give you these slides later on. So yeah, we help you get to graduation. That's our goal that we share with you, and student support is here to help make it happen. So some of the more well, maybe less exciting parts of being in higher education have to do with things like the catalog and student handbook. But for those of you who aren't familiar with an academic catalog, this is really like the text that details what is going on with your program, what our policies and procedures are. It includes program information, course requirements, and financial aid information. So if you're ever wondering how something operates, if you're like, what is the deadline for dropping a class? That's absolutely something that you can find in the academic catalog and student handbook. And we in student support, we pride ourselves on being experts on the catalog, so you don't necessarily have to be, right? But as a part of your orientation, we do want you to familiarize yourself with the academic catalog and student handbook so that you have a good sense of what the school's expectations, policies, and procedures are going into your time here. So once you've done that, and again, you'll get the links for this later on, but Emily also is posting them in the chat as we go. Please be sure to sign the acknowledgement form. It's located in Early Connect, and you'll also access that link through these slides. But the deadline for that is September 4th. And on that acknowledgement form, you will identify that you have reviewed the academic catalog and student handbook as part of your orientation.
And just a quick note on the acknowledgement form, if it looks familiar when you open it up, it's because we also handed it out at your in-person orientation. So if you're like, I've already filled this out, you don't have to fill it out again. It's just very important, so we share it with you in a few different places.
Great point, Emily. And if you happen to fill it out twice, all the better, right? If you don't remember, because we've thrown a million pieces of paper at you throughout your orientation, go ahead and fill it out again. We'll get them both and make sure that that requirement is like extra covered. So another one of the things that you're going to hear a lot about that you may be familiar with, or maybe this is the first time you're hearing it, is FERPA. So this is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, which regulates access to and maintenance of student records. What does that mean? Essentially, that means that students have a right to inspect and review their educational record. You have a right to seek to amend your educational record, and you have a right to limit disclosure of information from those records. So for example, if you have parents who are very excited about you being in grad school and they're like, gosh, I just really want to know how Natasha is doing in their classes. They call in and they're like, can you tell me, like, did Natasha get an A in their lifespan course? We cannot do that, right? We can't release information about your grades to anyone other than you. And for that reason, we do ask that from now on, all of your communications with the school, whether that's faculty or staff, come from your TCSPP student email address. That's because we know that that email has been issued to you and can only be accessed by you, right? So FERPA really covers your privacy in higher education, and we take that really seriously. So FERPA blocks can be applied to limit disclosure of information. So if you want us to give out less information, that is a thing that you can request. And you can also release information. So we do have a FERPA release form that you can submit to the Office of the Registrar that would allow certain authorized parties to access some portions of student records. So they do ask you to specifically identify, yes, I am okay with you telling my mother, Rosario Rusi, that she can access this information, right? And so then when she calls, we can be like, oh, I see that this has been approved. So closing out that kind of policies and procedures section, any questions before I hand it back over to Emily to tell us a little bit about getting to campus? You can feel free to put any questions in the chat if you have them. Right. Seeing none, I'll hand it back to Emily.
Thanks, Natasha. So up next, we're going to talk through some things you need to know about coming to campus. We have a coming to campus checklist for our post-COVID world. We have info on the CTA UPass for taking transit to campus. I've got some information on your student ID cards. Most of you have already picked those up at orientation, but if you haven't yet, we'll go through that, and it's also a good refresher. We'll also talk about the proof of vaccination requirement and emergency alerts you should sign up for. So your campus visit checklist, because there are, changing situations in the world, we want you to make sure you are checking your email about campus opening or campus closures. We will let you know if anything changes in campus hours or campus policies. For example, right now we're requiring masks on campus, but if that changes, an email will come out from our campus dean. Submit your proof of vaccination or apply for an exemption. You do have until the end of the semester to do that, but we want you to do it ASAP. So we will go ahead and place a link for that in the chat very shortly to the COVID Resource Hub. And you'll be able to submit your proof of vaccination or apply for an exemption at that link that Natasha just pasted in the chat. You'll also want to make sure you bring your student ID. You are required to wear your ID on campus at all times. And again, make sure you're wearing a mask in all shared spaces. So the CTA UPass is a transit benefit for any graduate student in 5 or more credits and any undergraduate student in 12 or more credits. Each semester, your account is charged one flat fee for the UPass. It's $131 for the 15-week semester compared to $75 a month for me as an employee. So it's a very good deal. It gives you unlimited rides on all CTA buses and trains. So that's the L that you can probably hear going by outside our office. That is the any of the buses within the city. It just doesn't work on the Metro trains, so that commuter rail, or the PACE buses, which are the suburban buses. So if you live in the city or hang out in the city, it's a great deal. If you take Metro to class or drive to class, it's probably not as good of a deal for you. So if you want to opt out, reach out to transit at thechicagoschool.edu. And if you have questions about your UPass, it stops working, you haven't sent in a photo yet, also contact transit. You do also have the option to add money to it to use it between terms or use it for, PACE rides or things that aren't covered by the UPass itself. Because it has the capability of having money added to it, it also has the capability of having money withdrawn from it. Excuse me. So that means that if you tap it a second time at the train station, it will think you've passed it back to someone, and it will charge your account the $2.25. Then, because your balance is below zero, because you didn't have money on it, it shuts off the UPass. So now all of a sudden you're being charged for your next ride. So keep the balance above zero. If it suddenly stops working and says insufficient funds, there's probably a charge of like between $2 and $5 on it. Go to a kiosk or register it online, and you'll be able to make that payment, get the balance back above zero, and it will start working right away. So just a good pro tip for the UPass. If it suddenly stops working, check the balance first. Make sure that only you are using your UPass. Don't lend it out to anybody, and be careful not to lose your UPass because there is a $50 replacement fee if lost or stolen. So your student ID, you have hopefully already picked that up at orientation. If you have not though, plan on budgeting about 10 extra minutes on your first day of class. You will actually be stopped in the lobby and sent straight to the 4th floor to pick up an ID. We don't allow anyone in our building who is not displaying a student ID. So if you forget your ID one day, just again, budget an extra few minutes to stop by and verify your identity and get a guest badge. So head to the 4th floor mailroom, your first day of class, to go pick up your ID. And then next slide. So, and again, you'll be wearing your ID on campus at all times. So again, proof of vaccination is mandatory. Face masks are mandatory. So submit your proof of vax ASAP. We've pasted that link in the chat. It's also on the COVID-19 Resource Hub on the community site. We do have some stipulations on the format for your proof of vax. It should be in a PDF, PNG, or JPEG format for that photo. We don't accept HEIC or some other photo formats. So if you're on an iPhone, next slide, be sure to update your settings for most compatible.
Emily, we got a proof of vaccination question in the chat. For students who have worked as adjuncts or otherwise worked at the Chicago School and have proof of vaccination on file as staff, do they need to add vaccination records as students?
Yes, you do. We do actually require that you upload it as both a student and a staff member. So you're familiar with the process. It's just going to be basically that same form a second time. Okay, and then yes, we can absolutely add the Rave Alert link to the chat. So Rave Alerts are fantastic because it is a text message alert if anything changes on campus. So if we have an emergency situation, if there are any sort of COVID-19 related updates, or the best thing, if there is a snow day in the spring semester, you get a text message alert. So it's cold, it's miserable, it's blizzarding outside, you don't want to go to campus, you can get an alert on your phone saying you don't have to go. It's a beautiful experience if you are lucky enough to have it happen. So I want this for you. I want you to sign up for Rave Alerts, and maybe we can all will into existence a snow day. So click that link in the chat. It's the best way to get emergency information about campus. We will send emails, but text messages are just more convenient. And then again, student ID is visible at all times on campus. You will badge in the lobby of 325 North Wells or in the entry to our 4th floor space in the Merchandise Mart. And our 10th floor space, because we share the 10th floor with another office, you also do need to badge in to come visit us. And with that, I will hand it back to Natasha for support resources.
Thank you, Emily. I'm loving this volley. It's nice back and forth. So I'll be talking a little bit about some support resources on campus, including ADA services. I'll go into requesting those services and some assistive technologies you have access to for free as a student. And I'm also going to be talking about Student Solutions, which is a multi-purpose but primarily wellness resource that you also have access to for free as a student. So as I mentioned, I'm the ADA coordinator for the Chicago campus, and as a campus, as a school, we provide disability accommodations. What that means is formal documented academic adjustments based on disability or medical conditions. We can implement these anytime. So if you think that you may need or qualify for disability accommodations, we do not have to do it prior to the start of the semester. If you're wondering, can we do this before Monday? We cannot, and no worries, we can do it later on. So the thing to keep in mind with this, if you're on the fence or you're uncertain about whether or not disability accommodations are the right fit for you, is that they can be implemented anytime, but they can't be implemented retroactively. So if you were to be approved for accommodations midway through a semester and you, let's say, had extensions on assignments, that wouldn't apply to any assignments prior to when you were approved for those accommodations. So if you do think that accommodations are the right fit for you or that you qualify for those, please reach out to me, even if you're unsure, right? If you have some questions, but you have medical conditions or a disability and are interested in talking through that, I'm always happy to have those conversations and talk about what it looks like here at the Chicago School. The email address here, and I'll provide some more contact information on the next slide as well, accommodations@thechicagoschool.edu, is how you'll contact my team for any accommodations requests. So please reach out if you have any questions or if there's anything that we can do to support you. The application process is relatively standard. We do have a form that we ask you to fill out, and then we request medical documentation from a provider, including their recommendations for accommodation. Assistive technologies are also a big part of accessibility on the Chicago campus, and these are not directly related to disability status or having a medical condition. These are available to everybody. And that includes Kurzweil 3000. So this is an assistive technology that does a wide variety of things, but some of the main functions that it has have to do with things like text to speech. So if you want to upload PDFs into Kurzweil, it will actually read those back to you. So if you're more of an auditory learner, you learn by listening while you read. Kurzweil is an excellent tool for that. It also has a lot of organization and note-taking features. It can help with outlining, and this may be a little bit early for those of you who are just getting started, right? But when you get to the point that you're working on like a thesis or a dissertation or another very large writing project, Kurzweil is a great tool for organizing your materials, keeping track of citations. It has a built-in translation feature. So my background is in the humanities, so I was reading a lot of German philosophy when I was in grad school. And if you're reading, say, you know, a German philosopher and they say something in German, you're like, oh gosh, what does that mean? So there's a translator built in that is pretty good. Some other assistive technologies that you have available for free are built into our learning management system, Canvas, and the Office 365 suite. You do get Office 365 for free as a student. IT will tell you more about that later on. But within those platforms, they do have an immersive reader, and there are other accessibility functions built into those that can be really useful for anyone getting a grip on grad school, right? These unwieldy and kind of large things. So this slide is more for when you get the slides. This is just my contact information, my face in case you want to know what I look like and say hi to me in the hall, and then some links to additional information on our ADA services webpage, some accommodations FAQs, and how to make the most of accommodations, including additional resources on assistive technologies that are great tools for graduate school. Student Solutions is a free, confidential, around-the-clock counseling service that you have access to for free. I said that twice because I want to emphasize that it is free as a student. So with Student Solutions, the Chicago School will pay for the first 3 counseling sessions per issue that you identify in working with them. So we are all whole people. We exist in the world. We're navigating the complexities of that world. You might be facing family stress, economic stress, right? Like we all have a lot going on. So when you identify issues to Student Solutions, if those things feel like separate issues, TCSP will pay for the first 3 sessions per issue. So I like to emphasize that as well. In addition to counseling services, Student Solutions provides legal support and financial information. The legal support is kind of basic, but if you ever needed to talk with a lawyer, this is a great way to get connected with some information there. And the financial information is great for things like budgeting. I know a student got connected with them for some introductory advice on investing. So there's certainly a lot that Student Solutions can offer, not only to you, but also to your household and family members. So we offer this as an extended benefit to our students' communities because like we said, your whole people, your family and your household are a part of that as well. All right. Any questions about wellness, accommodations, Student Solutions, getting to campus?
All right, well, with that, we will turn things over to Val Hill to discuss student finance. If you do have additional questions, please continue dropping them in the chat and we will answer them as soon as we can.
Hello, my name is Val Hill, Financial Aid Advisor, she, her, and today we're going to go over the student finance, who student finance is, financial aid fund sources, cost of attendance, things to remember, important policies, additional services, and then contact information, of course. Okay, so who is student finance? We're comprised of 2 areas. There's financial aid, and then there's student accounts. Financial aid is, we're responsible for packaging and determining your eligibility for federal, state, and institutional aid. And student accounts is responsible for posting tuition fees, aid received for your student stipends. They're responsible for third-party funding. And if you have payment plans, they set that up. Basically, financial aid determines what you're eligible for when it comes to federal aid, and student accounts makes all the payments in and out on your account. Okay. A few financial aid funding sources: scholarships. As new students, those will be awarded from admissions, and they notify us when you receive scholarships, and we put those on your account. Those are for the internal scholarships. Federal grants, this is for undergraduate students only. That is the Pell Grants and the Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, and those are based off of your FAFSA information. There are state grants for California students. That is the California grant. That is for undergraduate students only. And then, of course, there are student loans, the federal student loans. They're subsidized, in which the government pays the interest while you're enrolled. That is for undergraduate students only. And then there's unsubsidized loans. That is for undergraduate as well as graduate students. And then there is what's called the Graduate and Parent Plus loans. As an undergraduate student, if you need additional funds and you are a dependent student, your parent can take that loan out for you. As a graduate student, you can take out that loan yourself. So you are eligible to apply for additional loans with that Graduate Plus loan. It is a credit-based loan. Then, of course, there are private and alternative loans that you can apply for from outside sources that can also pay through the school. Federal work study, that would be a federal work study position where you get paid through your employer, but it is considered a federal grant money. So that, of course, requires a FAFSA as well. Okay. The cost of attendance, it's an estimate of your educational expenses for the period of the enrollment. So it will include your tuition and fees, the estimated cost of your books, your textbooks, room and board, transportation, miscellaneous fees. That is all for the time frame in which your loans are awarded. We use that cost of attendance. And based on the program you're in, we have different estimated costs for that. Here listed in this chart is the tuition and fees, your other expenses, and the total amount listed. The amounts listed here are not the total amount that you can receive necessarily, because we do review each of your accounts based on your actual registration. So the tuition and fees will vary based on what you are actually registered for, and you will receive that amount. You cannot go over that amount. Things to remember. You're going to need to complete your FAFSA annually if you haven't done that already for this fall and received your award letter information. That needs to be completed right away. That FAFSA.ed.gov, also studentaid.gov has that information. And the school code to enter is B07022. The 23-24 FAFSA will not be available until October, but anytime after October 1st, you can go ahead and get that completed for your next summer semester. If you need to review your previous loan history, your lifetime borrowing limits, all of that is at the nslds.ed.gov. That is also at studentaid.gov. They have lumped everything where you can access all that information out there at studentaid.gov, rather than having to go to different websites if you want to go to one place. Your funding will cover 2 semesters, and you have to reapply on your loans. You have to reaccept those loans every 2 semesters, unless you are a PsyD, clinical psychology student, and then that may be 3 semesters. So right now, every student that is awarded loans when you're starting fall, your loans are based off of your fall and spring enrollment, and then they will start over again. A very common question is, what about summer? Summer starts a new loan period. So then you will get new loans for summer and then spring, and you will get your summer and spring loans for those psychology or PsyD students for the clinical psychology. That would be summer, spring, and fall. You are able to approve the full amount that we award you. You can adjust it to receive only part of that if you don't want the full eligibility on your loans, or you can decline it altogether. You are not required to accept those funds. But you will have to do that every 2 semesters. Clinical psychology students, that ends up being 2 to 3 semesters once you start next summer. And we do ask that you timely submit all of your documentation. Of course, it's requested through your school email address. And go ahead and you want to make sure to monitor that email address. That is where we correspond with all of that information, send your award letter information, if any additional information is needed from your FAFSA documentation. So you do want to monitor that email regularly. As she indicated previously, that is where your correspondence will go. FA disbursements and student refunds. Your financial aid disbursements are requested 9 days after the semester begins. So with this first semester that you start next Monday, we will start requesting those funds down on the 7th of September. And then once those are requested down, that is the earliest you will see them on your student account. It may take a little bit more time for those funds to hit, but once that occurs, that goes to pay your tuition balance. And once your balance is covered for all of your tuition and charges, if you have a credit balance on your account, that is where you're entitled to a refund, which is what we call a stipend check. You'll receive that stipend check within 14 calendar days after the credit is available on your student account. And they're issued by either a mailed check or direct deposit. I can tell you that you will receive those funds quicker, usually with that direct deposit. Otherwise, it's mailed USPS, and you have to wait for that paper check to come in the mail. And then they can vary per semester. Your refunds can adjust because your loans are dispersed on those 2 semesters and they are dispersed evenly. They can vary up and down on what those stipend checks will be because your registration and your enrollment can vary per semester as well. Okay. So important policies to remember, your attendance. You must be reported as active in your courses to be eligible for financial aid disbursements. Basically, you have to be attending school to receive financial aid for you don't receive financial aid if you're not attending. Enrollment status, you must maintain at least half-time enrollment, and to remain eligible for that aid, you have to, for undergraduate students, that would be at least 6 credits, and for graduate students, that would be 3 credits, and that is per semester. So for the full semester. Federal financial aid is based on you maintaining your satisfactory academic progress, and that is outlined in the policies on what must be maintained for that on your GPA. Okay. Some important policies. In school deferment, the registrar will report your enrollment status through the National Student Clearinghouse database after your add drop period. So after that first week, that is reported. And then tuition refunds for dropped withdrawn courses, that varies as well on when you drop those classes. So if you drop in the first week, that would be different, that you wouldn't be charged for those. If you drop within the second week of classes or the third week of classes or the fourth week of classes, that does change on what you are charged for those tuition amounts and what will be refunded for that difference. Return to Title IV. This is a portion of financial aid that is returned back to your federal funding if you are not enrolled in at least 60% of the total days in the semester. So if you withdraw from your classes within that semester and it has not been 60% of the total days, you will need to expect to have to return part of those funds back to either your loans or your grants, or depending on what aid you receive, that funding will have to be, part of that funding will have to be returned. Okay. Additional services, we have book vouchers. Book vouchers are provided as an opportunity to purchase your textbooks in advance without an initial out-of-pocket expense with an approved book voucher. Book vouchers are repaid with approved anticipated financial aid that exceeds your institutional charges. There's the option of $350 or $650. Basically, what this is you're receiving your loan funds early. Instead of having to wait those 9 days for them to disperse to your account and then for you to receive your stipend check to get your money to pay for your books, you have a voucher for a portion of that loan amount you're receiving early to use towards the bookstore in either the $350 or $650 that you applied for. And then if that is not used, it expires after 30 days and it is issued back to your student account because those were your loan funds. And 30 days after that expiration date, you will have that back onto your account and you'll receive the stipend for that balance. The Chicago Schools partnered with the I3 group. It's a program that helps you manage your money and your student loans, and it is out there at www.iontuition.com. I want to stress this is a free service that's provided to you because you are enrolled in the Chicago School. It helps manage all of your federal and private student loans. It helps you find, review, and qualify for the best fit repayment plans, automated status alerts via email, SMS, and mobile app push notifications. You can explore your pros and cons of the student loan refinance, student direct personal finance resources to improve your financial literacy, and learn about student loan borrowing, repayment, and deferment or forgiveness options once you have those loans in place. Again, I want to stress this is a very useful service to find out more information in your options on loans once you're received, and it is free through your enrollment with the Chicago School. Okay. And here's our contact information. We do have, I want to stress on here, different emails if you are attending strictly online or if you are on one of our grand campuses with financial aid. We have FinAid at the chicagoschool.edu for all of the ground campuses. And then if you are just an online student and not one of the ground campuses, that would be online FinAid at the chicagoschool.edu. Student accounts is the same email address for all campuses. And our phone number that is listed there is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And you can call us or email us with any questions or concerns throughout your enrollment when it comes to your financial aid or your student account. If you need to make a payment, you can call at any time and speak with student accounts. They can help you make a payment. If you're wanting to get additional loans, have questions on that, you can call and talk to financial aid. We are always there to help you throughout your entire enrollment on any of those questions. And speaking of questions, do we have any questions here currently?
We are all clear so far in the chat. If anyone has questions, please either type them into the chat or go ahead and raise your hand and unmute yourself. If we're seeing no questions, do know that you can reach out to Val and her colleagues at that contact information we placed in the chat. They are available to answer any of your personal financial aid questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, and you have a great weekend.
All right, so up next, we have IT services and support, and I believe we have Sage here from IT today.
Yep, that's me.
All right, I will let you have it, Sage.
Okay. Hope everyone's having a good afternoon. All right, so if any of you have any questions, you're definitely welcome to come down to the offices if you're on site. However, if you are remote, online learning, or you're just not available, or none of us are available, you're more than welcome to come to the Helpdesk Portal. We have several articles related to Canvas, any IT issues you might come across, online learning through the help desk here. You can just search, see the relevant article. However, if you are having some issues that can't be solved by an article, or you're having an urgent issue that's got to be solved right now, feel free to call the help desk as well whenever. The number will be at the bottom of that website. When any of us get the ticket and we'll update you, you'll be emailed via your student email, and it will come from the help desk email. So keep a lookout for that. Just keep in mind, if you do submit the tickets without signing in, they will go to whatever email that you put in the list. But we recommend that you, when you do submit these tickets, please submit them via your student email. That way we know that they are going to a correct address and going to you. As I mentioned earlier today, we know that your student email goes to you, and it's not someone who is trying to get information through an outside source. Next slide. Oh, go back one. Yeah. The help desk is not 24/7. The hours are on the slide there, from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. They'll be your first line of contact for any issues that you may have if you need that urgently. Now, if you are on site, you can just walk up to the office and ask us if that is more convenient for you. However, they're always available, especially as we will tend to be walking around. We're not always in our offices here. So it's best to call them if you have any issues. All right, and next slide. Okay, so the MFA, all of your student accounts will require the two-factor authentication. It is done through Azure. You can find this in the App Store if you have an iPhone, or in the Play Store for Android. I'd recommend you use the application with the phone. It's very convenient. You just press a button. You can set up your cell phone number through it. It's probably a good idea to have it as a backup. However, I recommend the app first. It's quicker and will be generally faster than just getting the text message, because that can rely on your signal, whereas the app will just come through the Wi-Fi. Next slide. Yep, everyone has a Zoom license as a student. The Zoom license, you shouldn't have to activate your Zoom license. It should be automatically updated in the system just by being a student. However, if you don't have a Zoom license, you should be able to just sign into Zoom, and it should just send you an email. If you're having trouble with that, just give us a call at the help desk and we'll help you through it. There should be an article on that as well through that link. Next slide. With Canvas, we can help you get logged into it. However, we don't have any access to Canvas beyond getting you in it. So it's highly recommended that you call their support line directly. That number is on screen. It'll also be in the slide that you'll be given afterwards. They can help you with all sorts of stuff within Canvas, access to your courses, etc. So any issues within Canvas itself, go ahead and call them. If you can't log into Canvas at all, then you call us. Next slide. Oh, yes, the Wi-Fi. So it's if you're on campus, you should see a Wi-Fi called Students. You will just, when you sign into it, it'll just prompt you to put in your login information. That login information is just your student email. So it's going to be your student username. You do not have to put the @eo.chicagoschool.edu, just the username and your password, and you should be good to go. However, if you are having trouble with that, there is a guest Wi-Fi as well. The information should be in that document for that. If you're having trouble with it though, just let us know in the office and we can help you through it there. Usually we have it on a sign somewhere. Next slide. These links should be help you answer some just common questions. As I mentioned previously, everybody has Microsoft 365 as being a student. Occasionally, the license will not apply correctly. So if you're having trouble getting into it, and it says you don't have access or you don't have the right license, let us know. We can fix that real quick. It only takes about a minute. As for the Office apps themselves, we have articles on them, and along with many other common problems you could have, we can find them through the Helpdesk Portal. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? I know I went a little fast there.
And if you do have additional questions about IT, we'll be having on-campus IT info sessions on Monday and Tuesday, Monday from 12 to 1, Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30 in room 516. So please come by. They can help you get anything set up that you are struggling with on Monday and Tuesday of this coming week.
Well, one last thing. If you're in the Wells building, IT's on the 5th floor. I believe it's 515. No, it's 514.
5:15, right?
No, 515 is across the hall.
Oh, right. Okay.
And if you're in the Mart, we are the first store on the left coming in. So I'll usually be over there in the Mart, and Matt will usually be over here most of the week in the Wells building.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Sage.
No problem.
Okay, and with that, let's take a short break. How about 5 minutes? So we come back at 2:53. Get up, go stretch, come back for the last half of our presentation. Thank you. All right, let's start coming back from our break. We will be queuing up Jill Glenn from Community Partnerships to talk about opportunities to get involved on campus. All right, Jill, go ahead and take it away.
Great. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So we are the Community Partnerships Department, and the biggest thing we've got coming up is September 14th. We have a job and volunteer fair from 11:30 to 1:30, and that's going to be in 407, 412, the big room in the Wells building. You can come anytime for 5 minutes at 11:30, or you can come, for an hour. It's up to you for what works with your schedule. Next slide, please. So how do you get involved? First off, if you can attend the fair, that's the best thing to do. Then we're going to be posting positions on Handshake. Charles Kelly in Career Services will talk more about Handshake, and they just posted a link to Handshake up there. We'll send out an email with a list of all of our partner sites, as well as the positions that are available. And many of the positions have several opportunities. And then after the fair, you're going to have an interview with Community Partnerships. So you'll meet the partners, you'll interview with us, and we will send you out to the sites. Next slide. So the other thing that I co-lead with Emily Hillerin is the Social Justice Leadership Academy. And this is an opportunity to really engage in social justice, learn more, and grow. So you'll participate in different activities, and you earn 12 points while you're in the program. Each point equals about an hour. So whether you're going to the DuSable Museum on the south side or the Holocaust Museum on the north side, you can earn points by doing those things. You can participate in marches and walks. There's documentaries and other events that we encourage students to engage in. You write a brief response on the Canvas page to earn your points. And then you receive a mentor. That's a faculty, a staff, or an alum who will work with you on a leadership project of your choosing. We've had students lead book clubs. We've had students do presentations on topics to their peers that they care about and do things in the community. So we really leave it up to you to decide what is something that where you feel like you can make a difference in social justice. Next, and I will hand it over to, I believe, Isaiah in the University Center. Natasha.
It's gonna be me today.
Awesome.
Isaiah is one of our other excellent student support counselors. Thank you so much, Jill. So I'll just be talking a little bit about our Diversity Center, which in the material realm is located right next to Jill's office, Community Partnerships. Both of these spaces are in the Merchandise Mart on the 4th floor. They are across the hall from the Student Lounge in the Merchandise Mart. So in between classes, the Diversity Center is an excellent space to check out. The goals of the space are really for it to be a safe space for students of diverse backgrounds to meet and hang out. It's a space where we host diversity-related events. A lot of those events are hosted by students for students. This is really a student-centered space, and student support is here to help you realize your visions. So we host just drop-in hours in the Diversity Center Monday through Friday. You're welcome to stop in to talk to us. You're also welcome to just come in and study. We always have coffee and tea in the Diversity Center. And it's really a space that is for you. So if you do have an idea for an event or there's something that you'd like to see in this space, let one of the student support counselors know, and we'll work with you to try and make that a reality. We have some large Post-it notes up where we're collecting information on businesses owned by people of color. We also have like a suggestion Post-it note up in the Diversity Center. So this is very much a collaborative and interactive space, and we'd love to see you in there. So with that, I will hand it over to Charles Kelly, our Director of Career Services.
Awesome. Thank you, Natasha. I really appreciate that handoff. Hi, everyone. My name is Charles Kelly with the Office of Career Services. Career Services is here to provide lifelong services to you. So through advising, we'll meet with you via phone or via Zoom. We are a university office, so we provide services to our entire student body. I don't have a physical office on campus, although if you are attending the Job and Volunteer Fair, I will be there that week, supporting community partnerships and being a part of the Job and Volunteer Fair. So you might even interview with me as well after the fair if you sign up for that. So we're a two-person staff. It's myself and then Elka Hart. She's located in Southern California. And we have two grad assistants that work with us too. And the areas in which students typically want services or help with is usually reviewing resumes, CV, cover letters, job searching as far as just planning things out, interview preparation, and then just exploring their careers. And a lot of times that comes from when you enter your program, that could be so many different directions you can go with your career. So to sit down with us or to have a conversation with us, just to sort of pick our brains, just to see what direction could be where you may want to put more time and effort into, we're here to help you do that. Now, what we do, because we are more remote and not necessarily physically on campus, we offer these webinar series. So we offer them every season. So they rotate, they will come around several times while you are a student, but we touch on subjects of job search, prep, interview prep, resume writing, even LinkedIn 101. So for those who don't have a LinkedIn, you can join that webinar and we'll talk to you about, I had some gnat flying around, sorry. So we could talk to you about LinkedIn 101 just to get you started in that. Jill Glenn talked about Handshake. So Handshake is where you communicate with career services. And so when we talk about setting up appointments with us, each of you have an account with Handshake. So you can go into Handshake, you can find positions from the Job and Volunteer Fair. You can find on-campus positions in Handshake, full-time, part-time, even internships in Handshake as well. So the idea in Handshake is it's designed as the college version of a LinkedIn. So you have access to other people, you can have access to employers, you can do research on employers, etc. You can join webinars that employers may host just to sort of advertise who they are. But ideally, if you want to schedule appointments with us, our calendars are synced in there, takes out the guesswork. You don't have to contact us and say when we're available. Pick a day, time, and then we'll schedule something with you. Two more resources that we have that we'll highlight is Going Global, which is a job search tool, resources available for those who are looking to search for employment outside of the United States, but they also have a USA guide as well. For our international students who may have questions about what employers are friendly toward, hiring international students, there's resources available in there where you can search for historical data of what employers have done that in the past and who could be currently doing that as well. And then interviewing.com is a interview prep software. So all you need is a webcam. You can answer questions. record yourself, send it to whoever you want to critique your interview, or you can critique yourself. But it's, once again, it's another tool that we have here available to assist you in your endeavor. So at any point, whenever you want to connect with Career Services, feel free to contact us, schedule an appointment via handshake. I'm going to put my email in the chat box, so if you all want to reach out to me directly, feel free. So other than that, enjoy the rest of your day. If you have questions, let me know.
All right, thank you, Charles. And up next, we have David Sibley, our university librarian, who will be talking about library services.
Yes, hi everyone. I hope you all can hear me. I'm going to apologize right off the bat. I am currently working from my hotel room in Dallas this week. And so if I randomly freeze or drop off the call, blame it on the hotel Wi-Fi. So I want to take a minute and talk about the library services to you. One of the big things I want to make sure that everybody knows is that the library staff are always here to help. That is the biggest takeaway I want everyone to have, is we're here to help you on your educational adventure. Full disclosure, I am also starting, or actually in the midst of doing dissertation work. I'm actually very grateful for this time slot because that's what I've been working on for most of this Saturday. So I feel your pain, or not pain, I don't want to scare anyone yet, but we're here to help you on that adventure. So if you can see my screen, this is the library website. I don't want to steal Emily Hillerman's thunder because I know she likes to show off and give a tour of how to find things from the student gateway. So I'm not going to take that from her. But the library website just was revamped this fall to make things a little bit easier for everybody to find. One of the few things I want everyone to know is that the search box that you see here is sort of the key to the castle to all of your research needs. One of the big things I highly recommend every student do is, if you have your syllabus, before you purchase a textbook, see if the library has a copy on reserve for your use, or if we have a digital version as an ebook, because it can save you a lot of money. And having had to purchase a ton of textbooks in the past, not having to pay for one to get through a semester is sort of like a silent little victory. I also just like to stick it to the publishers whenever I can, that they don't get students' business because we've already taken it. So the search box here is a really, really great tool. And again, like I said, if you wanted to use it, you just need to stick in that APA citation and click search, and it will pop right up there for you, nice and easy. And sometimes it pops up twice just to be fun. So again, take that APA citation and put it to good use. The other thing to know is that for every single one of our programs across the university, the library has prepared a research guide. So as you start your semester or term for the first year, you want to click that research guides button that I just did and take a look at what we have. For example, we have one for applied behavior analysis, and these guides are a window to introductory resources that will help you on as you start doing research or doing papers or assignments. They also are useful because they kind of give you an idea of how to stay current in the field once you graduate, since you do eventually lose access to library resources once you graduate, because again, publishers are greedy and they don't like us to license to alumni. So it's a really great resource to start your looking at your discipline. Another really great thing to know is this Meet My Librarians. This is the opportunity to meet one-on-one with one of the librarians at the Chicago School. There are currently 4 of us. There's myself, and I'm normally located in Chicago. I'm just visiting our Dallas campus for this week. So I'm normally headquartered in Chicago. Also in Chicago with me is Faye Callista, our Associate Director of Academic Engagement. And then in Washington, D.C. is Taylor Dykin, who is the Associate Director of Digital and Special Collections. And then in Southern California, we have Emily Bergman. I'm seeing Emily's face on my screen, and I'm going, nope, I can't. It's not Emily Hillerin, but it's Emily Bergman in Los Angeles. And she is our campus librarian for the 3 campuses there. But one of the really great things that you can do is make an appointment with any one of us because we serve the university and all of our students. We also understand that having 3 time zones, it kind of makes it really, really easy for you to sometimes make an earlier appointment or a later appointment with one of the teams, depending on where that is. So we actually have an entire scheduling software that lets you make an appointment with us. You just need to select a time. I always say leave it on no preference because that will get you to the first person. And then you just fill in some information because we tailor each and every one of our consultations around your needs to help you develop a search strategy that will work the best for yourself. So again, key takeaway here is we're here to help you and we want you to be successful. So I highly encourage you to take advantage of our services. And then the other thing I want to point out very quickly is we have frequently asked questions here. There are quite a bit. We compile these at the end of the year based on the number of chat interactions and in-person interactions we have with basic questions. One of the ones that we just added that I really want to point out is, are there any discounts on technology or software at TCSPP? And the answer is yes, there is. It's all offered through IT. We get a lot of those questions, especially right before the start of school, sometimes in the middle of the school year too, when your laptop inevitably breaks down in the middle of doing a major assignment and you have to buy a new one. I'm only speaking from experience for myself that has happened and it is dreadful. But it does make it nice to know that there are discounts you can get on new technology. So you can find things like that in our frequently asked questions. And then last but not least, we offer a chat service here on all of our library pages. This chat service is a 24/7 service. It is because we are able to offer it as a 24/7 service because we're a part of a global cooperative with other libraries. So if you are like me and sometimes doing homework at 3 in the morning because that's when you find your random inspiration, if you need help from someone, you can ask on this chat service and you might end up getting an opportunity to talk to a librarian from King's College London or another European library because we all are cooperating with each other to try and provide that large amount of coverage. So there is a ton of other stuff on there, but I'm not going to overwhelm you today. The only other thing to know is we offer a ton of webinars and events throughout the year. We also put the online writing centers events on our event calendar. So keep an eye on our calendar because there's always something going on either through us or with our colleagues in the writing centers. So if there's an event, I highly encourage you to take them because they are oftentimes specialized and intended, again, to help you on your research adventure. And with that, I can stop talking and go back to Emily because I know she's going to give me the watch signal soon. So feel free to ask any questions. I'll try to answer them in the chat or in person. And with that, have a good rest of the Saturday.
Thank you so much, David. If you have any questions again for the library, feel free to either raise your hand or type them into the chat. And we can go ahead and move into the Writing Center presentation, which will be the last department you hear from before we roll into our website and Canvas tour. And I get to talk about the Writing Center. I work with our Chicago Writing Center team. We are located on the 10th floor along with student support. And we offer one-on-one writing and statistics coaching, as well as written feedback on your writing products. So that could mean a paper that you want someone to double check the APA on. It could mean your dissertation. It could mean your internship application materials. Literally any kind of writing you do for school, we are happy to help you with it. So you can do a walk-in visit on the 10th floor, but the best way to get a hold of us is to visit our website, and that is the link in the chat. You will find a link to our calendar where you can schedule appointments and see our availability in real time. You can book an appointment for up to 30 days ahead, and that includes booking a specific time for written feedback. So if you know you'll have a draft of your paper, roughly September 26th, and you want somebody to look at that draft, go ahead and jump in this week, book a time for September 26th, and then you have up until the start time of your appointment to upload that paper. So we make it really easy for you to work the Writing Center into your life. We have 7-day-a-week availability at the Writing Center. We start at 9 a.m. and on Monday through Thursday, we do go into the early evening until 8 p.m. Central. And then we aim for 9 to 5, Friday through Sunday as well. So we aren't 24/7, but we have a link to another service that is. So Smart Thinking is a 24/7 tutoring service that TCSPP subscribes to on your behalf. The link is on our Writing Center website, and you can go there to get writing support at 3 in the morning when you're hit with that random inspiration. So we would love to see you Monday through Sunday. We are available, but if we aren't available, know that Smart Thinking is. We also have writing resources online, including APA paper templates. So if you're just dreading the thought of formatting your first APA paper, you don't have to. We've got it. Go ahead and just plug all of your info into that template. So check out our website, check out our calendar, register an account, and we'd love to see you come in for writing or statistics help soon. And that's it. Those are all of our campus resources and departments we're going to share today. So I am going to cap things off with a quick walk through our website. And these are our talking points. Please remind me if I do not hit them all. All right. So this is our community site, community.thechicagoschool.edu. On it, we have links to all of these services we talked about today. So our bookstore, where you can go to purchase your books and use that book voucher. If you aren't using a book voucher and you're like me and you love deals, go ahead and grab those ISBN numbers and search your favorite discount booksellers to get the correct edition of your textbooks. So the book list is available through the bookstore. And I believe David also mentioned that the library has copies of many of your textbooks as ebooks as well, or available for reserve behind the circulation desk. So if you're just ordering books today, don't panic. You can get a lot of your readings for next week from the library. We also have links to the library, to the Writing Center, career services, hands-on experience through community partnerships, our student support services team, including ADA services, facilities if you've got questions about your ID or parking, finances, information technology, it's all here. So check out the community site, or if you can't find what you're looking for on the community site, contact your student support counselor and we can help you find it. If you need something that is specific to you as a student, you click on this quick link, access the Student Gateway. The Student Gateway is your gateway to everything you need to register, to view your grades, to pay your bills, and to update your personal information. So you can do a degree audit, see how many classes you have left. You can order an official or an unofficial transcript, calculate your GPA, view your grades, make a payment or view your upcoming bill or your account balance, accept your financial aid award letter, search and register for courses, and view your course schedule. And the course schedule also has your classrooms on it. So if you need to know your classroom for next week, go under course schedule. And finally, you can update your personal information. And that link will take you to your student ID number, and it will also take you to your emergency contact info. And we would love for you to go in, maybe right now today, and add in emergency contacts so that if something does happen, we can get a hold of someone to come help you out. So update personal information and fill in your emergency contact. So all of that, again, is available under the menu on the Student Gateway. And both of these are great sites to bookmark the community site, and the student gateway. The student gateway also is your gateway to your email, to OneDrive, where you can share and collaborate on files, and Office 365. You have a free Office 365 account through the Chicago School, which means you have Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all of those good products for free the entire time you are a student. And you can access them, you can download them to your machine or access them through the cloud, which means you can also collaborate with your peers using OneDrive. So you can create a PowerPoint presentation and then share it, and all of you can be editing it together in real time via Office 365. So know that these are great collaboration tools. They're great tools to keep you on track with your coursework, and all of that is available through the Student Gateway. With your email, we do want you checking it daily. I know that it's another email address to add to your life, but please check in daily just to make sure that there aren't important emails from your instructors, from your student support counselors, from campus leadership about things that you need to know. We also have weekly event announcements that go out, so if you want to get involved, that's a great way to do it. And finally, we have these go to classes links, and that takes you to Canvas. Canvas is our learning management system. It is where you'll post attendance for all of your classes starting on Monday. It's where you can get your syllabi for your classes, and it's where many of your classes will have some online coursework for you to do. It is also where the Early Connect program is housed. So you've probably logged into Early Connect. If not, we'd like you to do that at some point. And we tried to set it up very similar to how a course would be set up. So on your landing page, you have info about navigation, and we recommend using modules because most of our classes are set up. Okay, this is what I get for doing it in Student View. Okay, using modules because most of our classes are set up where you have resources pinned at the top, and then the course is laid out week by week in the modules. So you'll not only see your readings, you'll also see your assignments laid out week by week in the modules for the course. If you don't see that on your course, it might mean that your course is pretty much all in-person content and doesn't have online content. But generally, modules is the best place to go to get that overview of the online Canvas component of any courses you're taking. This is also where you access discussions. Your attendance post will show up as a discussion. So it might say attendance, it might say auto attendance, it might say, what do you want to get out of this course? It'll be some kind of generic question during week 1. So starting on Monday, log in, click on that attendance post, hit reply, and you can see some examples of people who are replying to this thread. This is exactly what your professors are looking for, just a very brief hello that introduces yourself, and most importantly, at least on our end, tells Canvas to tell our student record system that you are present, you are attending this course, and will note that you're current in the class. If you don't post attendance in one of your classes, what happens is your student support counselor is going to call you and say, hey, are you going to class? Please reply to the attendance post. So do attendance starting Monday in every single course in Canvas. A couple other Canvas things I want you to see, and I keep leaving it in student view. Let's try again. Okay, a couple other Canvas things that I want you to see. There are 2 different views on your dashboard, and I just want you to know because I can't decide which one I like better. So you've got this view, the card view. There's also a list view, and list view gives you your upcoming dates and deadlines. So you can actually see when your assignments are due and use it to kind of keep track of what you need. So it's a great tool for just kind of a daily digest of what you have coming up in your courses. But there are other ways to get that information too. For example, the calendar will also show the exact same information in a calendar form. And it has a link for a calendar feed. You can copy this link, paste it into whatever calendar you use, and get the feed from your Canvas calendar into the calendar app you currently check. So another way to keep on top of your assignments and keep organized. Canvas also has an inbox that I love using to contact my instructors, because you can just select the course from a dropdown and then select instructor rather than having to remember your instructor's email address. If you're calling in sick or you're like experiencing some distress, it's nice to not have to think about names and just think about, okay, this is my course, click instructor, click send. Canvas also will keep an archive of every class you do. So if when you're about to graduate, you need copies of your old syllabi for licensure, you can get those by clicking on the book, which shows your courses, and then clicking all courses. If you ever have a class you've signed up for that you're not seeing in Canvas, you can also check under all courses. It might have just not shown up on your dashboard for some reason. So that's another way to just get in there and access every course you've ever been registered for. You also can update your notifications in Canvas. So I like to get an email instantly when a grade has been posted. You also can check a box to include your score in that email so you know right away how you did. If you like a little suspense or just like a little reason to log into Canvas, you can leave that unchecked. I like it because every time I go in to check my grades, I'm also like, okay, well, while I'm here, let's reply to some discussion boards. And that keeps me a little bit more on track in my classes. So if you're like, oh my gosh, too many emails, you can change these notifications to get fewer emails from Canvas. If you want all of the emails all the time, Canvas can do that for you too. So that is really my quick Canvas overview. You'll also notice there's a QR for mobile login link. So if you want to just aim your phone at your laptop screen and then use that to log into Canvas on your phone, that way you don't have to type a password twice. So that is available for you too. So with that, do we have any website questions that I can answer?
Emily, we did get one question in the chat regarding attendance posts. Kaylee was wondering, are the attendance posts for every day we attend class or just in the beginning of the semester?
Just in the beginning of the semester. It is a record keeping thing where we have to document at least once per semester that you have chosen to be enrolled in that class and attend it. So we do that during week 1. And if you have any other questions on the website, anything that you need to know, again, you can also contact your student support counselor and we'll be happy to help. We are very knowledgeable about where documents and forms and information are on the site. And we've honestly seen most errors you're encountering too. So we are happy to, walk you through what you're seeing rather than making you have to figure it out on your own. And I believe we have one more slide with reminders that we can pop to, and then that will be it for the presentation. So things to do during your first week. Again, submit that proof of vaccination or apply for an attendance or apply for an exemption. Sorry, I started reading the question in the chat while talking. We did have a question come in. We only need to post attendance in Canvas during the first week. Yes, the attendance post is just during week 1. After that, depending on your course, you'll have some regular discussions or assignments that you'll obviously need to keep doing to complete the course. But in terms of attendance, that's just week 1. Okay, and then we've got, oh yeah.
Oh, I just got one other question in the chat. Someone was asking how to add your school email account to existing email accounts via the settings on your phone.
Yeah, and that will depend a little bit on what phone you're using, but using the Outlook app, I would say download the Outlook app to add your school email. You can sign in through Microsoft Exchange on an iPhone, but with the two-factor authorization, it gets a little funky. So the Outlook app really is the best way to go. And then from the Outlook app, you'll just be able to sign in to your school account. It will prompt you, I think, to sign in through an organization and then just put in your Chicago school email address and your password. And IT can help you out if you have any more questions. And Natasha placed their contact info in the chat again.
And just to plug those additional IT sessions next week, they are hosting sessions on Monday and Tuesday of next week if you have any additional questions. And that would be a great time to get help with getting Canvas set up on your phone, getting your Office 365 set up, getting Outlook set up on your phone. So definitely be sure to stop by those IT sessions if you have more questions.
Yeah, and then again, just to clear any additional admission contingencies you have, if you have letters of recommendation or final transcripts due this week, do that attendance post again starting on Monday. Check your student email and add it to your phone. We just discussed that, so fantastic, you're on the ball. Set up a payment plan or accept your financial aid if you have not done those yet. And then if you have anything coming up at all at this point, please reach out to your student support counselor. We are so happy to help. Chicago Student Support, any of us can jump in and answer questions to that email. So chistudentssupport@thechicagoschool.edu. And perfect, Natasha, thanks for pasting that again. All right, so this concludes our presentation. For most of you, this concludes your orientation. You're now oriented to the Chicago School, so welcome to our community. Thank you so much for joining us, and we cannot wait to see you on campus next week.